but I've changed it up. Six podcast. Oops. Start stage. Here's the chat. Here's that.
Okay. Why can't I see myself?
Oh yeah, I forgot. Last time you didn't want your camera on. So I turned it off.
Okay, thanks.
Just streaming.
Thanks, buddy. Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Oh, I can, precious pumpkin. Oh, the bugger. All right, so what time is it now?
Is me.
6:58.
I don't know.
Oh, I love you guys. So, yeah, we have about 2 more minutes. So I'm going to go to, bathroom.
Okay.
Before. Dun-dun-dun.
Dun, 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 dun.
Dun-dun-dun-dun. Pee-pee. Okay. Okay, Ben says we are streaming. So never mind. Here we are.
Streaming.
That's awesome. All right. So tonight, the topic is Lunar Matrix, and what's going on exactly with that, and what that all involves. It involves a lot of mind control, a lot of belief systems and falsities that have been placed into our minds, into our bodies. I know that I gave you the link to look at it, Michelle.
Yes.
What did you think?
I think it sounds pretty accurate,
Okay.
at least from my understanding.
Okay. Because go ahead.
I'm not 100% sure what exactly it all means, so you're on stage tonight, Mama.
Okay. So for a couple years now, I have been gravitating away from the moon cycles. It's a new moon, you need to put your intentions out there, or it's a full moon, we need to get rid of the stuff that we no longer need. And I've been guided more and more to go to sun gazing, to sitting in the sun at any point in time, either just to stare into it for a little while or just be and feeling the rays hit my body, compared to the lunar. I still take pictures of it because I'm just hopefully that something going in front of it, the space station that it is, to just being curious, more or less. And so, like the big super moons, like when when it's really big and huge and red, and you start to see, the really big, intricate details of it all. And so this started my journey on, stepping away from the moon cycles and really the darker aspects, the dark of the divine, the dark goddess, the blah, 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 stuff that is infiltrated into spirituality nowadays.
I've never really I mean, other than thinking that it's beautiful when you can see outdoors when the moon is so bright or whatever, I've always been more drawn to the sun. So I guess maybe that's why I never really delved into any of the moon stuff.
Well, I didn't really like super dive into it, but it was more or less playing out the aspects of me that was darker, and how I really had to go into the deep parts of me that I saw that were the dark feminine, were manipulative, things that I learned throughout my lifetime here and in other lifetimes of manipulation, of even when it came to any kind of sexual things like that, um, it goes so deep. And the victim, the abused, that all is combined in within this whole thing, and how it
Okay.
is a mind control and a mindset that has been placed into society, um, that we have to wake up out of. And so there's even the music, because I started, really looking at how different aspects and how there are tiny little parts of me that were probably still plugged into this, and I felt chords, I felt um, just like software, almost like an installation of software that was still running in the background, and it was even songs that I really resonated about, like the goddess or anything like that, um, came up in my reality today. It was like that in between time where you're still sleeping and unawake. So I was really paying attention because I know, well, that's in between worlds there, and to really pay attention to that. And I was talking. There was a song that popped into my head saying "New Moon, New Me," and then it was all these beautiful like folk songs about the goddess and about uh, it just all these songs just popped into my head. Let's just say it this way. Of course, I can't remember any of them now offhand at all, but it was really diving deep into that and seeing where um, being abused, being all those states that happened during my life, neglect, all those narratives were installed within me that to allow the all of that to occur was part of me waking up from this dream, or waking up from this illusion that was installed in me. It was kind of like a software. And anything that happens to our lives, whether it's any kind of thought process, ego, especially ego, when you dive deep into the dark aspects of your ego, you see and you can look at it as a mindset, as a software download, and it actually wakes you up from it easier as you see it that way. So you won't. It's not a blame game or, oh, how could this be? But no, you see why it happened and how it happened and how the infiltration of anything that is out there that is outside of ourselves, the darker ETs to the things that are controlling things right now on this earth. It's very, very evident as to the mind control, the hive mind, the AI, um, what is really going on with that, and how to step into the higher Christic Sophia codes that are deep within us, that we're born into this, we are infiltrated, and we are society. It just happens. We're the codependency is just flooding our realities, and how that is a program as well. And it blows your mind how deep that things have been infiltrated, and we have to see the infiltration. We have to see all of this in order to step forth into um, see that that's not us, and stepping into that Sophia code that we are, with the Christos and the Sophia married together, which is we are the daughters, because we're women, of this beautiful marriage of Father and Mother God. Um, and how even the covens of witchery to the whole religious movement, we all know about that too. A lot of us have woken up out of that. And I remember when I first started my little spiritual journey out of the whole Christianity thing, I was looking at paganism, I was looking at this, I have a plethora of books behind me of all this stuff that I just looked at. I didn't dive into, but I just looked at, because it was all part of my makeup of who I was, what I came from, and to wake up out of all of it. And so that's the last couple days have been really intense, to seeing where I was a participant, and unknowingly, of course, a participant in the darker ways, the in playing along, I guess, with that whole codependency victim status, and how when you start to wake up from that, but then you also see your participation in that, and how the AI is still installed, but not necessarily running at full capacity, but how even abundance flows into that too. Relationships, I mean, it's all running in the background. This, like I say, the software is running secretly in the background, and how we have to be so mindful of that, and to see it all of it, to wake up out of all of it. Then, only then, can we step fully into that fully Christed self. And how is such a beautiful layer process is what I really witnessed this time around, was just observing throughout my whole life, and how all those programs came into play, from um, the victim to the abused to the manipulative to fear of loss, or fear of neglect, and what you do to when you're acting out of that fear, and how that's a program. And even down to where you're afraid that you're going to get hurt, or the kids are going to get hurt, or something like that, and you manipulate, is still out of that fear. And how those narcissists, because we've all been wounded, and how the narcissists are developed, how the narcissism is then used against others, to keep perpetuating this entire mindset, for loosh, for energy gains of the different beings, how addictions play into all of this, and how even the narcissists who are acting out of pure ego are also part of that feeding game, and why they become so drained and exhausted is because they are that energy source for those beings that have attached themselves to you. To where even in our dream state and entering into our dream state, or even astral traveling, or whatever we do during the day, sometimes we don't even realize it. And the beings that we're bumping up against that we can't necessarily see, but a lot of us feel. Especially when we start to open up our hearts, we start to feel that more. And how we just need to be so aware of every thought, every action. And that's part of this journey that we're all finding ourselves on, is that we have become aware. And to encourage other people to be aware by our example. Because we're not better than them. We just saw a glimpse of our true selves. And so we are now on this road to being that true self. And they'll do the same too. And it's just waking it up from all of it. And realizing our full true self potential to the aspects that have been hidden from us forever. A lot of us have gone through this exploration, and it's just once you see it all, which a lot of us have seen a lot. I mean, there's still stuff that's going to be coming out that we're like, holy shit. I can't believe that was playing in the background and I didn't even realize it. Which, even down to the beautiful Mother Mary, who, and Mary Magdalene, and all the beautiful Christed Sophia goddesses who came here to walk the path, and same as Jesus, the Master, to walk the path of that higher, higher gamos, where the fully embodied divine masculine and divine feminine, and to birth that within yourself and bring it out to the world, and how perverted everything was twisted with that, with the dark Madonna, the dark Pope, the dark this, the dark that, the black sun, so many things that are occurring
that I
that,
haven't ever heard of.
yeah, that are running in the background. And just to be aware of that and bring that out to everybody, to say this is what's going on. This is the game that is being brought to you, and for us to decide if we want to continue playing that, or if we want to step out of it and search within self and to heal ourselves. And how just talking about this and airing it is big, because the majority of people have no clue about any of that. And a lot of people now are like, hey, there's something that's just not right that's going on. um, we see a lot of the corruption that's starting to be really highlighted now, and it's supposed to be that way. But the bigger that this explodes in front of our eyes, to see how deep this really truly goes is really baffling, and is quite the masterpiece of deception. and how we.
Well, I felt that way when I found out about how badly the Christian story was twisted. I
Right.
was devastated.
Yes. Oh yes. Yeah, I was too. I remember sitting up on the altar with the pastor and the boys, and just felt icky. It was our turn to do the. They were the acolytes, and I was the communion um,
Ah,
steward, right? And because I made a promise to the boys' grandpa that I would get them baptized as Lutherans, because it was the Lutheran pastor was the only one that came out and gave rights to his dying sisters. Um, it was a big thing for him, and I was raised in the church as well. I went to Sunday school. I went to confirmation classes and did the whole 9 yards because that's what I thought, and my parents thought what you're supposed to do. I even, to the point where Brady, he went all the way through confirmation class too. And I said, this is what we promised to your grandfather, so let's just finish this up and go. And then we really never looked back from then, where Ben came along. And I totally woke up by then. And I apologize, Bugga, for that. Because going through it, but we had to go through it because we're the older ones, the older souls who have been here, and we had to go through it to remember it and then declare it. Um,
is that why I became a Mormon?
yeah, there's parts
Oh,
of us that have all um, have to experience that part of us because we've all done it here. Like I've been Taoist, I've been a Taoist priest to a witch to you name it, I've been it, and it was to experience all of that and then to remember that is just whoa. But Brady and I had that in our fields to look at and to begin to clear it because we were here for so long. And Ben, being the newbie, didn't have that. So he's just like, no. And I said, all right. And I know that pissed Brady off something fierce because he's like, what the hell? I had to go through all that bullshit. And so now I look back on it and I said, well, yeah, you had to go through all that bullshit because we lived it and we had to see it and wake up out of it and to be cleared of it, to clear our systems of it, to see how deep it actually went, and the guilt and the shame and the um, mind control with that, and the just how they orchestrated it all.
I bucked the tracings from the very young child because I just couldn't wrap my mind around what they were claiming we needed to be redeemed from something. And I'm like, from what?
Yeah, I didn't understand that either. And I'm like, but I'm a little kid. What did I do? Kind of thing.
Well,
And
I was fortunate that I didn't grow up in a heavily religious household. I was dedicated at birth to the Baptist faith, but we didn't practice. But I sought many paths to try and find what was, I guess, at the time, for in my mind, the truth.
uh, oh yes,
So it was, but I constantly had issues, and I've got a big mouth, and I wasn't afraid to say, but that doesn't make any sense.
yeah, it doesn't.
It
It
just
really
is the
doesn't.
way that it is. No, you better give me a better answer than that, Brock, because it ain't working for me.
Yeah, yeah, and that was with everything that I looked into. Even from even to the spirituality groups,
Mm-hmm.
to the Taoist temple, to the,
The
I
what? Now,
did.
what is that?
Oh, yes. So, um, there was a guy in my life who was a Taoist priest. And so, in order to, I felt a lot of resonance with some of the things that um, was said through Chinese medicine and all that. So I went into that for a little bit to see, okay, everything that I have dived into, the one core thing was love. The one core thing was a lot was Jesus' teachings, you know, even the love your neighbor as yourself. Yeah, love you yourself, and then you love others the same, and no judgments. And same was the Taoist religion. So he was a Taoist priest, but he couldn't bless his soul. Who did practice the Taoist ways? I was more down. I found the Taoist teachings. A lot of it was about self-reflection and going in within and to know thyself and things like along those sorts. Uh, so I felt it in my heart um, where they're coming from with that. But then there was a lot of aspects that were humanized, and that's where I didn't res- resonate with it, any of that at all. And I kept on asking, well, I don't understand why you have to go through all of this and the whole entire Taoist priest thing. And if your heart wasn't in it, how are you a priest to, I mean, you name it, I grilled him on it because I'm like, this isn't lining up.
Well, that's what I did with the poor Mormon missionaries. They, I'd be like, you're going to have to clear that one up for me because I don't get it. I don't see it that way. Um, and a lot of this is basic. I think at a soul level, it's basic common sense to anyone who's even remotely in their heart that you can't tell me that a tiny baby has to, and I love the word atone because it's not the right word, it's at one mint, not atonement. Um, how a tiny baby has to have their sins washed away. What the hell sins did they ever make?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yeah. And I remember, getting the kids baptized, and I remember a lot of things that I look back on. I said, oh my God, too. Uh, even the this body and this blood is shed for you. To oh my God. Um,
And I'm going to tell you what, when that first was brought to my attention after my early awakening days, I was like, oh my gosh, you're right. It is ritual sacrifice. It is every single Sunday that you participate in that. You are once again sacrificing the flesh and the blood of the one that you claim to follow. You don't make any sense to.
yeah, yeah, precisely,
Why
precisely.
would you want to eat his flesh and drink his blood? Why? Bleh.
Yeah, I know, I know. Um,
So I do have a question.
yeah,
It's it's a it's a curiosity to me that the people who are very entrenched within any particular religious um, lifestyle, like deeply entrenched in it, they're the most wealthy. How does how does that work?
well, I
It,
believe that we also, being who we are, took this vow of poverty because we were been here for a long time and we've always been of service to others and not service to self. And
Correct.
when you, because you're following these programs to a T, you're doing everything that's you're supposed to be doing. I believe, I feel that they are rewarded on some level, just like the the elites who follow the bigger agendas are also rewarded. So it is, as we know that who we are, we decide. This is what part of the Lunar Matrix is also, that we have.
Well, I'm going to put this out here right now. I have no desire to be uber rich or have millions of dollars or whatever currency, whatever. I have no desire for any of that. None. But I sit back and I watch people struggle to keep their home or the roof over their head or to feed their children. And I think, well, man, if I had some, not a lot, but some, I could do more.
Well,
But
that's the thing too.
I don't
Yeah.
understand it.
I feel it's the program that's set up for that, where the humble, because even look with the jabber do. If you get it, you get to keep your job and your house and your food and all this other stuff, right? So
Yeah.
you're obeying and listening to the IA program and to the controller program, and you're rewarded. You get to do things. You get to have all your pleasures. But see, with us, we don't give a shit about any of that. We just,
Nope.
we are abundant in different ways.
Yep.
That's how I
Feel
feel.
poor or I don't have any of those victim feelings around money anymore. I shed those a long time ago. And I have sufficient. I am sufficient.
And I noticed that those were still playing in my background as well, because of um, how I wasn't playing ball with what was going on out there.
Hmm.
And because of everything in my past that brought forward, well, um, the scarcity, the not having a partner, not having, um, because everything that I built up, even with my business, within one fall swoop, was gone. Poof. Is because everybody was struggling. Everybody was scared to go anywhere or at least talk to anybody. It's gotten everybody in this fear state where they don't want to better themselves or they don't want to look at their wounds and anything like that. And so that's where my things was that. And I'm like, well, how am I going to do this when everybody is stuck in this fear and they're not willing to step out of that fear? And that's where that mindset clicked in. I'm like, oh, I saw that too. Um, so that's why I'm out here talking about it, is because we all have our different parts of us that we are plugged into. Like, even to the point where, there's a financial support of somebody who's acquiescing and selling their soul, um, is part of the program too. To I had to see that, where yeah, there's stuff coming in to this household, um, but it's playing on a different aspect of, but it's because of somebody acquiesced to be where they're at to help our house or this household out because of responsibility, and I had to
Mm,
see that,
mm.
and like I had to see it for what it was and to step into, okay, I gotta take my entire life back. And that's why I dove into this hardcore, is because I knew there was a program that was running in the background that was still perpetuating a lot of the stuff going on
So by
within
my
us.
husband continuing his employment
Yeah,
where he's at, that he doesn't want to be at,
you're right. Still acquiescing.
there's still a program.
Right. And so that's what, my ex, too, um, because of responsibility. And that's where they get you.
Yeah,
This is where this whole program is in place and why it's working and why people are doing things they don't want to do.
yeah,
I'm just going along for the ride because I got my pension. I mean, I've talked to a lot of people about this, and while I got to do this because I've been working here for so long. I have
yeah.
my pension. I have I have this coming in. I got to feed myself, and I got to take care of my family, and this is where they get you.
And
And
how do you step out of that completely?
by doing the work within yourself. And so that's what I said. There's always more work to do on yourself, but to first see it, and
Yeah.
that's why I'm bringing it up is for
Oh,
all
I
of
can
us
see
to.
it.
Yeah, I know you can, but see it on even a deeper level within yourself. And you're like, oh shit,
Yeah.
you know, and to start going, okay, I see that program running in the background, and it's deeply entrenched.
How do you turn it off? I want to turn
That's
it off.
that's part of it is the more that we work on ourselves as to why it's there. Why is it there? Well, because that's all I've ever known. Okay, go deeper. Like
I, I,
it,
I
it
I'm
go.
content with walking away. He's not.
Yes,
I
that
keep telling him that the way will be shown if you just walk away.
right, right.
And he's still in that. He's melting, but he's still got a bit of ice that needs to be thawed. That resistance
That's what's going on
from.
everywhere, even within us, because we say we're willing to walk away, but we're still here,
Yes,
and we're
indeed.
still and we're still involved with the people that we are with for the stability. We say we're going to step out of that, but we're still participating in it. So I guess here we go, deep stuff. Where do we decide enough is enough? Where do we decide, and how do we take that AI mind control program and it's really digging deep within it and looking at it and looking at, oh shit, I'm still participating in this. I never thought I would be, but I still am. Oh my god. And to
Okay.
see where all of our participations are. And to
Okay.
really start stepping out of that and saying, okay, I know I'm still participating here and I see that now. What am I gonna do about it? What
Okay.
can and to step further into that light that I am and to reclaim that Sophia code that we are,
Mm-hmm.
how embodied here on this earth, How am I going to step into that more? How am I going to be that more and not still participate and not participate anymore in the program?
Short of building an igloo,
I know,
living.
and there's where they get you.
Yeah.
This is where this whole system is set up. Is this is where they get you then? Because you're like, well, what? How am I going to eat? How am I going to take care of my kids? How am I going to keep, my house or my this or that? How is that? And that's why everybody's backed up against the wall.
Hmm.
This is why,
Well, there has to be a way to break it. There, I mean,
and that's
the
when everybody stops. Everybody, and that's why it has to. We all have to choose to do this. Yeah, we're taking one by one by one by one to do this, but the majority is still acquiescing at some point
yeah,
and participating, and even down to watching the truckers, and how everybody's behind them and cheering them on and such like that. I see it in so many different levels. Like they're taking a
mhm,
stand for themselves and for the mandates and all that other stuff going on. But also, a friend of mine on Facebook also said, "Hey, but they're giving gas money to the system, and
yeah.
but they're still, yeah, they're rising up and saying no, f that,
Well,
but
I
yet
think we have to consider the fact that it's going to have to be done in baby steps because the system is set up the way that it is.
it's so deeply entrained in everything. So that's why he said, hey, but you're still paying gas to the government.
Yeah, and taxes and yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and the tolls to get over and this and that and this and that, and how GoFundMe and all that other stuff was you know co-opted and taken from them. All this, like, millions of dollars
Yeah, well,
taken.
I don't think it was. I know that
Well,
that's the storyline that's been given, but
so there's a lot of you're starting to see the corruption in
yeah,
every facet of this thing.
and I think that that's going to create a tipping point.
Right, it was supposed to. It's supposed to.
Yes,
And that's
absolutely.
why this precipice is just like building and building and building. But where is that within us? Where is our tipping point? Where do we say, like, we said no to the covers, the diapers, and the jabberdoos, and this or that. Or like, well, we're just not going to participate in any of this bullshit. So,
Hmm.
oh, you're gonna take that away? I'm gonna cook at home. Or, oh, you're not gonna. Oh, well, I'm just gonna do this, or I'm just gonna do that. Go within, and it's more taking us within. Because I see a lot of other people are out there, doing their thing and going to their sporting events, to do this, do that, but that's even a program too.
Oh yeah,
You know,
definitely.
everything is a program, and
Uh-huh.
people have to wake up and see it. Even the truckers, there's this got talk about them going and busting up the Super Bowl, which is one of the biggest human trafficking um, events ever.
Uh-huh. Sure. All of
And
them think so.
all the
Yeah.
satanic, rituals that go on during that. I mean, the whole
Mm-hmm.
halftime show is a satanic ritual,
Oh, I
but
know.
nobody, the mass don't see it,
Right.
and it's us up to us. Of course, we checked out of that shit a long time ago,
Right.
and even down to, I used to just watch the commercials for the football game,
Oh
and
God. Yeah.
back in the day, and now I don't even watch that. The only thing that we sometimes don't watch is the puppy bowl, and because they're baby dogs and kittens, and I think they had ferrets one year, but even that is co-opted with
Mm-hmm.
the commercials that they have with that and stuff like that. Like, I don't go to my mom's house, and she'll have the TV on in the background, and it's like HGTV or something like that,
And
and all
commercials come on, and you sit there, and I laugh, and Don watches
right.
TV, and I just don't watch it. But the commercials come on, and you can hear them, and I'll just sit there and laugh.
Yeah,
I laugh at them.
it is, and it's just like, wow.
The drug commercials come on,
Oh
and then
my
they
god, right?
start going through the crap, and I'm like, oh yeah, sign me up. I want some of that. May
And
cause cancer, may cause muscle spasm. Oh yeah, sounds
we're
like a plan to me.
yeah, and it's just see all that.
That
And,
happened to me a long,
yeah,
long time
I
with the
haven't watched
commercial for
TV. Yeah, in a long time.
Detrol LA, which was so you didn't have a weak bladder,
Ah,
and it may cause this and it may cause that and it may cause cancer. Oh, goody! I'll have cancer, but I won't pee myself. I did not
yeah.
sign up for that.
Yeah, it's like what? And
People don't listen. They don't hear.
no,
They don't hear it.
it's playing in the background. So there's that program, that AI program that's playing in the background. Even some of the spiritual stuff, the point that you gotta be careful what you listen to. You gotta
Mm-hmm.
even to the tones and the binary beats. There'll be things like no, no, this is something else. To
Mm-hmm.
to where even any kind of meditation or mass meditation, you'll look at and you'll go, there's some suggestive stuff here. Where I remember even starting out doing meditations and reading them, where things would pop up with that to say, and I went, this isn't, this isn't me. This isn't the oneness talk. This is, what the hell is this? And even down to where I get my vision things where they put up that screen for me, and I'll see a whole bunch of different timelines and things, and then I've been waking up to start seeing them actually placing that in some of it in my reality, especially if I start spinning on a thought or an emotion. I know, ooh, there it is. They're trying to hijack me, or they're trying to hijack anything that happens. They'll use other people. They've always used other people in my life. Oh my goodness, they've used all my loved ones.
Oh, definitely. I've started to notice that.
I watched. I remember sitting back. This was years and years ago. I would watch the darker entities pull strings, and then something would happen where someone would pop off or just start being mean and nasty, um, to get that emotional whoosh from you, to feed them, then to feed the. I would watch it happen, and then as I even went down further down the road with Michael, I would see things like that just happen, and I would watch the puppet strings. I would see the even like the cords of the strings coming down into his brain and then into his different parts of his body. Um, and I would tell him about it. I'm like, this is what's going on. And I go, yeah, I'm watching the thoughts that are popping down that he's grabbing onto that are his that aren't his. And I would tell him about it. I'm like, this is what's going on. And he would, oh yeah, yeah. But he was so, it would be so deeply into that, the ego and the victim and the that narrative that he couldn't get out fully, and then it would always suck him back in. And I found that happened with me too. Watching that with me, um, where I would be thinking about something, and then it would be a spiral of thoughts, and I would feel like the energy being produced from that. And I'm like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And you start to realize what's going on. And then you're so deep into the thick of shit that it takes a while to recalibrate and come back out and say, okay, I see what you're doing, and no, it's not going to
Well,
work. And you got to constantly got to keep at it, and you got to constantly keep clearing. You got to constantly keep going through this process and protecting yourself. Like even taught before I got on here, I did a 12D kind of like shield around me. So I'd kind of like to go over that.
I,
It's kind of, we did something like this before when we worked together, but it's always good to do it on a consistent basis, just so that we're feeling it and we're really feeling every nuance. Because when I did it last night, I felt I felt a cord that went into the back of my head here. Um, I felt it like floating there, where it wasn't necessarily fully attached. Like I take this plug and it wasn't fully attached into it, but the prongs kind of were still kind of touching, where it could be plugged in at any moment. And then I felt one in my solar plexus, and I felt one in my sacral. And I felt like a lot of stuff in my sacral. Um, to where a lot of there's a lot of things with sexual abuse and such like that was still um, being cleaned out and cleared. Um, it goes so deep with this stuff. It really, truly does. Where then I want to talk about, next week of ways that we can clean and clear and going more into that to stuff and things that even Sasha talks about too, um, to really bring that out there because he's talking about this. A lot of us are talking about it, but because he's mainstream, he's bigger. That it's up to us to bring it out too, to talk about it too, because they're taking his stuff down left and right. Where to get it out there, if it not plants a seed, but I guess if it plants a seed, if it has somebody think about, then we did our job to helping and assisting the service of all. Because if I'm going through this and I'm seeing it within myself, I'm taking care of myself by doing this, being vigilant and really doing this work and looking at everything I say or do, that just strengthens that Christos Sophia codes within myself to bring that out to out to the world. And then if I continue to see the real me and be the real me, then hopefully encourage someone else to do the same
yeah.
and to talk about it and to be it. Um, not to go up to somebody and go, "Hey, you, I see that you have all these programs running in the background, blah 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 blah." But for if they come to you and say, "What this is going on? What the fuck? How do I get rid of this? What's going on?" That's a different story. But if it's, hi, thank you, Ben. If it's, just us being the example and us having the courage to talk about stuff that nobody talks about. Just like how we would always talk about, the child trafficking, the pedophilia, especially with the Super Bowl coming up. It's going to be huge, huge. And, it's a big, huge ritual coming up, and nobody's talking about it. No, they're talking about, you know, um, things that they want you to talk about. Like the game, to the players, to all this bullshit. But what really is going on, what's really happening, to even, the healers of this world who are, I know I had to step out of all the bullshit that came along with that. All the spirituality bullshit, all the inverted crap that was taught and passed down after generation after generation after generation, and how it was purposely placed here, purposely inverted, false light to the just the programs running with that, and the whole Lunar Matrix, the whole codependent ways of healing, to not taking responsibility for yourselves, but going to a person to heal you, to um, the healers try to take all their shit away. And, I gotta heal. No, that's their shit. They have to look at it and swim in it, or they can't heal from it because you're taking it away. It comes right back. So that I always had a trouble with that, and that's why people would come to me, just take it away. I said, I can't take it away. And they didn't like that because other people were promising to take it away. And I'd always,
No, take anything from anyone. They have to do it for themselves.
exactly. I mean, well, I can help guide people to work on themselves.
Yeah.
That's all I can do. Like, oh, this has
Yeah.
worked for me. Maybe it'll work for you too. Woohoo! Um, looking at the deeper programs of our moms, our dads, all that, teachers, priests, and pastors, and oh my gosh, all this false leadership, of the falsities of toxicity and toxic ways of being passed down from generation to generation is mind baffling. And to see it all and wake up all from it. And that even goes for, the old healing modalities, like even Chinese medicine. I go back to that a lot because that was a little bit more, they didn't take it twisted as much. I mean, with the whole entire religion, it did. But with the Chinese medicine, it talked about energy, it talked about meridians, it talked about um, things being, that energy being not flowing through you to emotions and feelings and thoughts being, you know, it's really the implants. It's really the way that we learned how to cope, because there are toxic ways that were shown to us. So of course that energy is going to be stagnant and is not going to be flowing as much. Um, there's just so much out there that we have to unplug ourselves from, and that's what I did. I unplugged myself from everything, and I had to this year. It was just like, nope, 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 nope. And it was like spirituality, ego death after ego death after ego death after ego. And it was like
Mm.
a death of the old me, but yet an integration of that process. I'm thinking of, well, who the hell am I then? What can I call myself? What, that whole bullshit illusion.
Of needing a label.
Yeah. And, but everybody stresses that they need that so much. And I'm like, but we aren't that.
No.
Right. And so it's it's coming to that realization. And, we're like, we talked about the classes, and we talked about like maybe doing some kind of, talk about like this, and to really dig deeper into this stuff and this psychosis of it all, and how to know my worth, and to realize, um, that my experience can maybe help open up somebody else to their own experience, and having,
Right.
um, until we switch over to where we're supposed to be. There's that in between transition state, um, which is really a not an easy place to be, and
No.
how just be in one world and be in another world, and I always feel like I'm always there, constantly. That I know I'm a bridge from one world to another. I know that that's part of who I am and what I'm here for, and to talk about this experiences and talk about these things, so then, um, it just puts something into somebody's head and say, yeah, that doesn't sound right now, does it? Or, I never thought about the Super Bowl like that. Or, wow, I never thought about the moon like that. Or, holy shit, um, the moon really is a Death Star that's beaming down thought processes with a generator and such. And there's a
Yeah.
prison thing, and wow, never thought about that before. Um, just to have somebody just go, huh, to, you know, um, be the white witch who, puts out, um, good spells with what we speak and talk about, compared to, casting signals and stuff, which isn't what is necessarily of the highest of divine routes. Um,
I love you so much.
the whole paganism, and the gods, and
2 hour stream.
the Norse stuff and all the other stuff plays into all of this, and the to even Kali, to, um, other aspects that I've touched into, that have lived through me in ways that I had to see and step out of that as well, and seeing, well, yeah, there's that darker aspects of this and that, and there's a lighter aspect of this and that, even down to beautiful Mother Mary, to Mary Magdalene, and the stories that they tell and what really occurred. To, that's all within us, and us stepping into that divine, creator God that we are, to
Mm.
be that, and what does that look like, and how to know that that is us, and not go back to depending on other people to take care of us, depending on other people to guide us, depending on other, to tell us what to do. I mean, we kind of step down off the bigger shit, but then there's that other little aspects of it going, shit, I'm still
Mhm.
attached.
Hmm.
And what can we do to do that is just see and step further and see the big picture, see the micro and the macro parts of it all and how it all pertains to us as an individual, and how to step out of that to become that who we are, bring that out to the world, and allow that to flow out, and have the true abundance of that, the true, not even manifestation, the true, because that's even co-opted.
Right.
That's even co-opted. And so to step into that fullness of us and just trust us totally, and not having to depend on anything but us. And we are God's source, and marry that within us and be that. So I'm gonna do that real quick, the shielding. And
Okay.
then I'm gonna read a little thing that goes with it. And it's going to so I want you just to start to breathe into your heart.
Okay.
And then I want you to picture the Star of David. And I want you to breathe into that with your heart. And to feel that within your heart. And then as you breathe in that life force energy, which is God, source, it starts to ignite that beautiful platinum white. And as you breathe that in further and further, it becomes brighter and brighter. And as that becomes brighter and brighter, we feel it expand within our heart and know that this is us. This is our God spark. This is our light within us. And we start to take that down through our body, down past our feet, and into Mother Earth, to our Earth Star. And we anchor it into that Earth Star, that beautiful glistening light, platinum light of who we are, into the earth. And then from there, we go down deeper and we feel out the cosmic, the heart of Mother Earth, that beautiful platinum white light of Mother Earth. When you feel that, your heart connecting with her heart, we bring that up yet again to our Earth Star. And within that Earth Star, we form a platform of light. With that platform of light, it starts to spin counterclockwise. And then we start bringing that pillar of light from Mother Earth combined with our spark and bring that up through our body, through all of our chakras, all the ones that even haven't even come online yet. And we bring that up through our body, bring it up all through all of our chakras. Continue to bring it up to 3 feet above our heads. Stone Star. We anchor in this beautiful pillar of platinum white light that surrounds us, and we anchor in that platform of light above our heads. So it is a constant spinning pillar of light that we've encased ourselves within. As that brings down that shining light around us, we go up to the cosmic heart. of the Christos and Sophia, Mother, Father, God connection. And we feel the cosmic heart. This is where I always get very tearful. When you feel that love of the universe for you, and you start to bring that down, what spins in this beautiful clockwise, counterclockwise motion, and you bring it down, and you feel it within your own heart. You bring it through your heart as it expands within your heart, and you bring it all the way down to the heart of Mother Earth, where you're fully connected to Mother Earth and to the cosmos, to the true heart of the cosmic heart. And within this pillar of light, we know that we are loved, we are safe, we are who we are. Anything that is in our fields, anything that is not the highest of light, will begin to show itself. You may feel tugs in your body, in your physical body, in your auras. You may feel emotions and thoughts popping up that are implants, that are the programs that are running in the background. You allow them to be dissolved and taken in this great pillar of fire. Anything within this pillar of fire, of the cosmic heart and Mother Earth heart and your heart joined together, will not be able to be in this presence. This is a very high fire that AI cannot function in. The astral entities cannot function in. It cannot be in this light because this is a high, very high vibrational frequency. And you may feel parts of you even later that will tell you any thoughts that may pop up that are not you. Feelings, emotions, more emotions than feelings, body sensations. You'll have this deeper knowing of, I feel you, I see you, and this is what we need to do to begin to step out of the program, to step out of the AI, to step out of what has been pushed upon us on this earth, is taking back who we really are, which is the Father, Mother, God, Christos, and Sophia. We are magical beings of light who are not meant to suffer, not to be slaves on this planet, and to step out of this once and for all. And to continually to do that clarifies our auras, our bodies, of this density that is not ours. It was placed there intentionally by beings that are trying to control us. Control how we feel, control how we think, control how we act. it's time we step up and take our sovereignty to the next level and what it really means to be sovereign. To feel that within us, to know that within us as we go deeper into this. Every week we will see a different aspect of us shining through that we never thought possible. There is an invocation that was along with this. To soak in this energy, be within this energy, to know that this is indeed you. So as we're in this 12D shield, we're going to create the handshake that goes along with it, basically an agreement. Defenders of truth, sovereignty, and liberation. Guardian families serving the one. Call in our guardian families, our true aspects of us from across all the multiverses. I call upon my guardian families to join me now. My unification is demonstrated in the waves of omni love. I sound my heart tone to you now. My energy template updated, renewed, and forever perpetrated in the eternity sustained light of my alchemical container is consecrated and dedicated to the purposes of one. And I endeavor to be the knower of God, to then be the way shower of God. Please sustain me in the eternal power of my consecration. I have asked for your gatekeeping in order to hold my mission, my highest purpose in service to the one light, my source, the living light code. My intention is unification, the cosmic Christ principle, and the energetic reality here and now. I am that I am. So be it. So I suggest doing this often, especially when we know that we are going to be going into situations where it's going to be needed for us to be the light showers, the way showers, to call upon that extra strength within us and to connect with that God source in these situations that are going to be unfolding, especially out there, and to remember who we are and why we're here. It is not to be a puppet. It is not to be this whoosh machine. It is to feel, what it's like to be human, to learn and to expand and grow our souls, to know that we are here for a purpose. It is self-love. To find self-love in the thick of this shit is amazing, blissful. And to be that more and more as we step forward into this. And to have that deep empathy, compassion, and understanding of us, so that we'll have that for others. To be that service to others, we have to take care of ourselves. And in doing that, then we'll be able to have that compassion, the understanding, the non-judgment of others. So thank you for joining me tonight. I appreciate
Thank
that
you for
greatly.
having me.
Always, my dear. I always enjoy our talks.
Yes.
So thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you,
And
thank you, thank you. Universe.
thank you for helping me to see where some of these programs may still be running. That's very enlightening.
Well, I just share with you what I go through and see for myself. That's all I can do. And if that
That
inspires you, awesome sauce.
it does.
And that's what we're here to do. We're here to inspire each other. Definitely are. I love you,
Love you too.
and I will talk to you soon.
All right.
Thank you, everybody. Have a beautiful night. Love you. Bye.
Woo! Go, mama.
I love you guys.
I love you too.